Has a crush on another man during a national TV talk show. Channel 2 News at 5 starts right now.
This is Action News at 5 with Larry Carroll and Linda Alvarez.
A powerful earthquake levels entire towns in Peru, killing as many as 15 people, maybe more, and injuring hundreds of others. Hello, everyone. I'm Linda Alvarez.
And I'm Larry Carroll. Thanks for joining us tonight. The earthquake hit right around noon when many people were in their homes eating lunch.
That's true. It was centered in the Pacific Ocean just off the coast town of Nazca. Most of the injured people are women, children, and the elderly.
People who couldn't run out of their homes in time to escape those crumbling walls, that's most of who was injured. The latest reports also say that nearly half the houses in the town of Nazca were destroyed.
So far, 2 major aftershocks have further damaged the buildings, but most of the people had already hauled their belongings into the streets and abandoned their homes before those aftershocks hit.
The earthquake has torn up roads into the region. A doctor in Nazca has pleaded for emergency supplies to be flown in. The area is a major tourist attraction because of the Ora Inca lines drawn in the ground.
We have someone on the phone with us right now, Douglas Stinson with CBS Radio News. Douglas, are you there? You're in Lima, Peru right now?
Yes, I am.
Now, Lima is about 200, 300 miles away from Nazca?
Right, it's straight up the coast, about 3 or 4 hours drive.
But you felt it in Lima?
Yes, the whole coastline here gets a lot of earthquakes, and it shook for a good minute here, but nothing special and nothing stronger than the normal earthquakes that we feel.
So you know that most of the damage was in Nazca and Ica, as we see on a map that our viewers are looking at right now. Any damage in Lima?
No, there was really no damage in Lima. Most of the problems were down south in those villages that you mentioned. A lot of the houses are made out of adobe or cane walls, so they fall rather easily.
Now, I understand that there have been a number of injuries, as many as 700 or more, and a number of deaths as well. What are you hearing down there right now?
That's the same thing we're hearing, that the civil defense people are saying up to 700 people injured and between 4 and perhaps 10 people killed. Now, there's a ham radio operator in Lima who is reporting that miners are trapped in a shaft at a mine in the area, a gold mine. But there's nothing confirmed on that.
Now, some of those towns that were hardest hit are mining towns, as far as I know.
Right. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of mining activity in that area of Peru.
Now, Nazca, which is the town that was closest to the epicenter, has about 25,000 people. Now, we're hearing that half of the homes in that town alone were destroyed.
I hear that 40% or half of them were damaged. I don't know if that means they were leveled or just in some way damaged. That's not new in Peru. They they commemorate every year a town that was totally buried in an earthquake in the 70s. So that sort of disaster here is not new.
Douglas, when did this happen?
It was early this afternoon, around about 3:30, if I remember correctly. No, I'm sorry, early. It was around lunchtime in the afternoon.
Are there any reports of panic in those areas closest to the epicenter?
Well, now that the quaking is done, I don't think people are going back inside their house. It went on for so long. As you know, in Los Angeles, quakes are often over and done with before you can react, but this one definitely had time to be scared and go running out into the street, as I'm sure many people did.
Douglas, what are you hearing in terms of relief efforts? Have there been efforts mobilized quickly?
Yes, as quickly as possible. They set up food kitchens and places where people can go for food and shelter, but more than anything else, people rely on their family networks and go where they have relatives where houses are not damaged.
For people who are just joining us, you're looking at pictures of an earthquake in Peru that was centered in a town about 200 or 300 miles north of Lima, Peru, and we have several reports of deaths and also about 700 people injured. You said it happened around lunchtime, your time in Lima. What time is it there now, to give us perspective here? For example, it's about shortly after 5 o'clock here. What time is it there?
It's 8 p.m. We're basically on Eastern Time, United States Eastern Time.
Okay.
All right. So relief workers and crews have their work cut out for them. Folks are fairly accustomed to earthquakes in this part of the world. And what was the most recent last earthquake that you recall of this general magnitude?
The last one I recall was in 1993, a quake of 6.5, more or less, on the Richter scale, and that struck Lima.
And they're saying that this one is. I'm sorry. They were saying that this one is what, 7.3 or 6.4. We've been hearing both of those numbers thrown around a bit.
I've heard 6.4, but it went on for so long and felt so strong in Lima that something much larger, centered farther south, wouldn't surprise me.
Now, we're hearing that many of the injuries were children, especially because of a school where the building was severely damaged. Do you know anything about that? That was in Nazca.
Yes, I understand that half, or two of four deaths that occurred in Nazca were children. And I don't know if they were in a school or not, but I have heard definitely that two children died during the earthquake.
Where a roof collapsed on top of the children and injured many, many more.
Nazca is also very well known for those pre-Columbian etchings that people go to see quite frequently. Any word about damage to those?
No, none whatsoever. They have survived nearly 1,000 years, so they've probably gone through a number of earthquakes. I imagine they're still there.
We understand that the earthquake was felt as much as 600 miles southeast of the capital. It was over a very large distance, and also in Cusco, which is another historical town.
Well, Cusco is to the south of Lima as well, off into the mountains, so it's really not that far from the area where the quake was centered.
All right, thank you very much. Douglas Stinson of CBS Radio talking to us from Lima, Peru, where an earthquake was felt.
Quite a big one. Here's what we know about this quake in Peru. The quake was centered just west of the tourist city of Nazca. That's what we've been talking about. Magnitude right now of about 6.4, as close as can be determined. 15 people known dead, as many as 700 people injured. There have been 2 strong aftershocks since that quake hit just at midday. Meantime, here at home, a freak accident also in the news in Los Angeles, and this is where it happened at 7th and Hill Streets in downtown Los Angeles. The accident around 2:30 this afternoon. Juan Fernandez live on the scene of that right now with the latest details there. Juan?
That's right, Larry. Talk about a freak accident. The street behind me here was finally opened after being shut down for about an hour. As you said, one man was killed instantly, and police believe the culprit is that scaffold across the street.
From way up above, it came crashing down. A metal beam capable of withstanding 2,500 pounds of pressure. Down below, a crowded downtown street, and this delivery man.
They were redecorating the building, and the scaffolding broke and fell. But I still don't understand.
And right now, neither do police. The details are sketchy, but here's what we know. Detectives tell us apparently window washers were working on the scaffold when a metal beam became loose and fell several stories. On the sidewalk were this man and his partner. They were making a gas delivery. Orlando Montoya saw it happen and says it was a direct hit. Some guys were working on the roof, he says, and suddenly this huge bar came crashing down and hit the delivery man right on the head.
We do have several witnesses over here. They are going to be counseled later after we take them to the station. We do have to interview them there.
Detectives say it was instant death. Within minutes, police arrived and shut down the entire street. Many people saw what happened, but finding out exactly what happened will take some time.
Well, back out live now, you can see this is a 10-story building at least. The man was taken to the coroner's office, and right now police are still investigating. What happened, how it happened, and if anyone is responsible for this is yet to be determined. Reporting live in downtown Los Angeles, I'm Juan Fernandez, Channel 2 News.
Thank you very much, Juan. O.J. Simpson is now fighting 2 court battles. One is for his cash, the other is for his kids. This was the first court day in the custody battle for his 2 youngest children, 11-year-old Sydney and 8-year-old Justin. The children have been living with Nicole Brown's parents since her murder. In the civil case, gouging fingers were the main issue today. A pathologist demonstrated how Ron Goldman could have used his fingernails to scratch the killer's finger. Before the demonstration, Simpson's lawyer challenged the pathologist to gouge him, but the judge disallowed it.
The verdict is in a talk show murder case. We're going to tell you the fate of a man found guilty of killing a guest on the Jenny Jones show.
And the flames from yesterday's refinery explosion could ignite higher prices at the gas pump.
Plus, they've spent their lives to protect you from danger, and now 2 law enforcement officers need your help to save their lives. We're going to show you what you can do. Coming right up.
You start to talk around age 2. Around 16, you start to drive. And right about now, LA Cellular is offering a great way to do both. LA Cellular is now offering a free AT&T cell phone, half off our monthly fee, and no activation fee. Just call 1-800-LA's-BEST. At around 21, you discover something called a job. At around 23, you discover someone else. And right about now, LA Cellular will show you how the two coexist. LA Cellular is now offering a free AT&T cell phone, half off our monthly fee for the first 3 months, and no activation fee. Just call 1-800-LA's-BEST.
The 97 Accord, still fun after all these years. The grind begins at your Honda dealer. Of course, you can have a really good time leasing an Accord LX for $239 a month for 24 months and a $500 down payment.
Lately, it seems everybody wants to offer you a free checking account, as if that's all you need. Bank of America offers a lot more. Banking that fits lives as individual as yours, and a way to get checking free of monthly service charges. Stop by or call 1-800-678-B-of-A and get the checking account that's right for you. You're not like anyone else. Why should your checking account be? Banking on America. Bank of America.
A guilty verdict in the Jenny Jones talk show murder trial. A jury found Jonathan Schmitz guilty today of the lesser charge of second-degree murder. Schmitz admitted he killed Scott Amador 3 days after they taped a Jenny Jones segment on same-sex crushes.
Jonathan Schmitz is, of course, very guilt-ridden by what happened. But that does not ignore the fact that Jonathan Schmitz did not have the capacity to make those decisions on that day.
None of this would have happened if it wasn't for Jenny Jones exploiting homosexuality, a sensitive issue.
The victim's family has filed a multi-million-dollar lawsuit against the producers of the Jenny Jones show. The movie titled Set It Off has set off increased security. Some theaters showing the shoot-'em-up cops and robber movie will post additional guards. 1 man was killed and 2 others wounded last weekend outside a Torrance theater showing that movie. And 3 people were hurt last Wednesday when they ran from another theater after gunfire erupted.
2 planes turned into fireballs today in a mid-air collision in India. A Saudi jumbo jet was taking off. A cargo plane from Kazakhstan was landing when they collided near the New Delhi airport today. Police and rescue workers on the scene say they've recovered 200 bodies just so far. None of the 351 people aboard is believed to have survived. Tonight on the CBS Evening News, cockpit conversations by pilots who watched the crash from the air. That's tonight on Channel 2 at 5:30.
That Texas refinery explosion could drive up the prices at the gas pump. Industry analysts blame yesterday's fire in Wilmington for a 3 cents a gallon gas price hike on the West Coast. The Wilmington plant refines 98,000 barrels of crude oil a day. That's about 6% of the gasoline used every day by California drivers. Investigators are trying to figure out what caused that blast.
Some baby teething rings are being pulled off store shelves. We have details of a voluntary recall surrounding a famous manufacturer of baby products.
And then when it snows in Cleveland, it really snows, and Cleveland isn't the only place seeing all this white stuff. When we come back.
Rosie O'Donnell. She's talking to Entertainment Tonight about motherhood and Christmas with her little boy.
Where the tree tops glisten.
Then Charlie Sheen has a new love, and he's giving us the juicy details. Plus, who's the mystery star decked out in a diamond necklace? Only Entertainment Tonight can show you who it is and who will walk away with their own diamond necklace. Plus, the Tom Cruise look-alike twins on Entertainment Tonight.
See it tonight at 7:30 on KCBS LA Channel 2.
Why wait till January 1st to make your New Year's resolution? Make it now and look great during the holidays. Announcing the Jenny Craig Happy Holiday Special. Join Jenny Craig now and you can lose all the weight you want for just $1 a pound. Call 1-800-96-JENNY now and ask about our Happy Holiday Special. That's 1-800-96-JENNY. Don't wait, because this offer ends when the holidays begin.
Over 200 great stores, movies, restaurants, everything I've ever want.
Wow.
Ontario Mills. It's a shopping trip. Grand opening is November 14th.
Sometimes life's tough, but you get through it. A little perseverance and the help of a good steak. A USDA choice 3/4 pound New York steak. Warms the belly just to think of it. Hey! That's better. Black Angus New York steak with veggies and haystack onion strings, just $12.99.
Announcing the Ross Fall Clearance. New markdowns on women's fall fashions. Save 50 to 70% throughout the store. Better hurry.
It can only be described as a family tragedy. A daughter loses her mother and her disabled brother in a fire thought to have been set deliberately.
Real cowards. They had to do it to the innocent family. And then while they were sleeping.
And tonight, Diane Chacon's grief has become worse. She learned her father didn't make it either. Now the family tragedy is being investigated as an arson murder. The fire happened in the middle of the night yesterday in Norwalk. Paul Dandridge is live at the scene right now with the details of this terrible tragedy. Paul?
Oh, terrible tragedy is absolutely right, Linda. Family members, Tony's sister is here. She saw him last night. Of course, as you said, he passed away this morning. Diane, the daughter, is back. Family members have been just standing around, holding each other, holding on to each other, crying, sobbing, and walking up to that door. There's a picture of Tony, or Anthony, as his fellow schoolmates called him, from the Hutchison Middle School, and it is a fairly recent shot. It is a terrible tragedy made worse now by the death of the father. Tony Olivas, 37 years old, fought hopelessly to save his wife and son. He repeatedly tried to get back up to the second floor as he heard their cries for help. Olivas suffered second and third-degree burns and died this morning. Police say the fire was set. Neighbors heard glass shatter, and almost immediately the house was engulfed in flames. One man saw a dark blue Honda or Hyundai speed away after the fire started.
Turned back up down the street after it, and by the time I got to the corner, he was gone.
Diane Chacon was at her parents' house last night grieving for her mother and brother. Now she has lost her father as well.
Coward. Real coward. They had to do it to the innocent family. And then while they were sleeping.
12-year-old Tony Olivas Jr. had spina bifida, used crutches to walk. He was overweight. His mother called 911 and rushed to his side and would not let him die alone. Today, family members sifted through the rubble, found photos and a Bible. Diane Chacon is asking for help to find the killers of her brother, mother, and father.
I just want to ask anybody, please, if they've seen anything or heard anything, if they could just please call the Norwalk police station and just let them know any little thing, even if they think it might be little, but it might not be.
Call the Norwalk Police or call LA County Sheriff's Homicide. If you'd like to help, there's a church in the neighborhood that is taking some donations, and they are going to tell you what kind of help the family can use, first of all. So if you would call them.